everyone. We're going to do a video review and walkthrough of the Ace VR shooting simulator, which is something I've been using a lot in my own training lately. I really think this is going to be a game changer for training at home. Prior to this, I tried all the dry fire tools, all the gimmicks, and none of them ever really had any substantial benefit over just dry firing with my pistol. But this is literally a game changer. It allows practice dry at home to be much, much closer to what you're going to get in live fire, which is very nice. So the way this works is first you have to buy an Oculus Quest, either 2 or 3. I have the 2. The 3 does have drastically improved resolution and frame rate, but I just couldn't justify spending twice the money on a 3 as opposed to a 2. One thing I do recommend when you get it, whether it's either the 3 or the 2, is you get one of these comfort straps and battery packs off of Amazon. They're inexpensive and they make it much more comfortable, and they significantly increase the length of time you can play in this system, right? Now the Quest comes with 2 controllers, a left and a right. The 2 has this large ring, the 3 does not, which will be important actually in a little bit. We'll talk about that. Now, full disclosure, I am sponsored by Ace now, but when I first started using it, I paid for the controller out of my own pocket, paid for the app out of my own pocket, and started doing it. Since then, they've sponsored me, and I now have a coupon code, Graybeard, which will give you a free month on the subscription. And here's the way that works, right? So basically, when you buy the app, you buy a year's subscription to all the updates and the stages they offer, and the year's subscription includes the controller. Like I said, with my coupon code, you get 1 month free for that. The original controller was a 2011 style handset, right? Feels very much like a real 2011. Trigger breaks at about 2.5 pounds. It's actually an actual trigger bow for a 2011. One of the controllers goes in the top here, and then everything actually is actuated on the buttons in the controller through mechanisms in the handset, right? So you have a little sear that pops up and hits the trigger button on the controller. If I hit the magazine release, it hits the side button on the controller. To rack the slide, I just do this and it hits the joystick. In the game, if I need to move from spot to spot, I use the joystick as well to teleport forward. Not to simulate movement during an actual stage, but to set me up where I want to be to start a stage, if that makes sense. I'm a big fan of the Generation 1 controller, but this is not the version they are selling now. The one they're selling now is very much like a SIG P320. It's a striker fire style pistol, right? The mounting mechanism to put the controller in the handset is much improved over the original, and it has a very crisp trigger. It is a little bit heavier than the 2011 style. This is about 4-pound break right here. Everything else functions the same on this. Now, a lot of people have been running this from the low ready, but one of the things I really recommend you do is either mod a holster or pick up a holster that will fit it, right? So my open holster that holds a 2011 open gun holds that style controller just fine. For appendix draws, I modified an old appendix holster for AIWB. Now, obviously with the ring on top, it makes clearing the garment a little problematic compared to a regular pistol, but it is workable, and it does allow you to start from that position when you're actually in the stages of the game. I did the same thing here for the other controller with a 320 holster. Just cut down the front so that this would fit, right? Like I said, the ring makes it a little bit different than a regular pistol AIWB, but it is still doable. If you have the Quest 3 and there's no ring, remember I said that'd be important in a bit, then it is much easier to conceal it under a garment and draw AIWB when you're practicing and get valid practice out of that. Now, I will say that what this setup is not, is it is not a replacement for working your draws, reloads, trigger presses, with your regular pistol in dry fire. All those weapons manipulations you should do in conventional dry fire, just to make sure that you have that grooved in as well. But as far as splits, transitions, visual perception speed, right? Working on movement, because there's plenty of stages in this game that have movement involved. All of that, in my opinion, can be done a lot better in the ACE system than it can be done with a regular pistol. One of the reasons is the feedback, where every hit and every miss went. You've got your hit factor for you, you've got your times for you. It's very easy to get a large number of repetitions in a very short amount of time because you can reset it in the game, right? There's moving targets, there's swingers, there's all kinds of things. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and put the headset on, and I'm gonna give you guys a POV tour of what it's like inside the ACE application itself. Okay, we're gonna do a quick POV tour of ACE now and show you guys how this works. So I'm going to click on the app. App's loading up. Okay, and this is the HUD it takes you to when you first start, right? Out there is the actual range. Over here you can see how many virtual rounds I've fired since I got this and the savings it's been in cost of ammo. Over here, so you have brass, lead, and powder. These are like your in-game currency for buying things. You earn brass and lead by competing in the daily challenge and by putting up personal best scores on stages. So if you look, you see, and we have all these, but you've got a striker-fired gun, like basically a SIG P320, and an open gun, right? I've enabled both of those. You have a selection of optics you can put on the guns, right? And those are all done on the workbench right here. So if you see here, I can switch out different optics if I want to, right? Get my gun back. There we go, got my gun back. We'll come back to this in just a minute. Over here is where you have all the different guns you've purchased. So if you see right now, I have the open gun, right? If I want just a regular P with my delta point on it, I can do that. I can do an iron sight P. Where you at? There we go. And then we've got the polymer striker-fired gun, the P320, basically. Go back to my open gun, because I like my open gun. All right, here on the left, these are the people that I'm friends with in the game, which means that I can do multiplayer with them, and we can actually practice together regardless of whether they're physically close to me or not. Here's how you find people in the game. So you can do your friend request, avatar choices, and the multiplayer setup.
If I enable this, then people can find me online and join in. Let's go ahead and disable it right now so that we don't get interrupted.
All right, so here we've got, basically you've got, they call them thrills, drills, and skills, right? So mini games and open ranges are here. This is really cool. It's kind of like the Rogers range, except that some of them move, which is kind of neat, right? The Zombie 360, it's basically zombie targets that come at you on little robots, and you're in a hut and you have to defend the hut from them. This is pretty cool. This is more or less like Terran's range out in California, right? Like everybody's seen in the YouTube videos. This one's also pretty neat. It basically just allows you to shoot groups at varying distances out to 30 yards. And you can run doubles on this. You can do a lot of good positive work on this, right? Here's an IPSC style person versus person shoot-off, which is always fun in multiplayer. This one has steel targets that are suspended from drones, and you have to shoot them. It's also a fun little exercise. And here's another free range, okay? I should show you guys at least one of these. Right, so here's the Terran one, okay? Right? Multitude of targets, all kinds of things you can shoot here. All right, so now let's go back to the hut.
and we'll show you guys some of the other stuff here. Skills. There's 2 in here right now. So basically we have accuracy, which is like shooting B8s. It keeps going further out until you miss, and then it comes back in. And it'll go out to about 40 yards. All right, sight acquisition. Basically just draw and fire 2 shots. Simple enough. Back to the hut. All right, let's go back to drills. Drills is kind of the big one here. So this is the daily challenge. If I shoot this, I get, like I said, brass and lead. Score better, the more I get. Bunch of different stages here. Some have movement. Some do not. But they're all good things to work on. Everything from USPSA classifiers to Blake drills and bill drills, various steel stuff. Working on moving targets. Texas Star, plate rack. All kinds of different things we can do here. Let's pick one and show you guys what I'm talking about. You know, we'll do one of the more complex ones just to show you. Let's do this one. Teleport a little bit forward so I'm at the front of the shooting box. Hit X on the controller.
Stand by. Keep the muzzle pointed down. Stand by.
There we go. Not the greatest over there. Shot at Delta, right? It gives you your best time, your current time, best hit factor, right? It goes gold, so we go silver or bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond, right? Basically, 130, the platinum, is pretty much GM. Anything over 100 is like an M-class run, pretty much, is how it kind of works out. Like the math is not exact, but that's pretty close. So let's go back to the hut. And that's pretty much a general tour of how it looks inside the game.
I hope you enjoyed this review and walkthrough of the Ace virtual reality shooting system. I really think this is going to be a game changer for serious shooters and their at-home practice. Remember, coupon code Graybeard will give you 1 free month off. So pick one up, get it set up, and I'll see you in there.